Um, oh, Hello again, Mana.
Yeah, Ivan.
So really happy to see you again after our conference, which we hosted last week.
Me
Uh,
too.
Again, as we have already discussed it, but as I've told you, like I wanted to keep the conversation going, and the conversation about the AI and the artificial intelligence, which you've spoken at the conference, and how it's changed even well, not like it's changed, but the updates which has been throughout the week, and it left me like thinking throughout this week about AI a lot. And I realized that I'm a bit schizophrenic about the AI. I personally not sure what I think myself right now. Because I'm on one way I'm super positive about it. On the other way, I'm super against it at the moment. But like not against, but discouraged. But like I'm getting ahead of myself. Let you introduce yourself again to our listeners. And yeah, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, perfect. Well, my name is Jimena Tormo. I'm an XR creative. I'm specialized in immersive technologies. I've been working in the field for almost 6 or 7 years. Right now, as you know, I'm very focused on doing a lot of research about AI and how can I implement this kind of tools in my workflow as a creative. So that's basically, or that was the inspiration for my talk last weekend. And yeah, well, I have to say that I feel I sometimes I feel the same as you're describing. I have mixed feelings, especially because I also try to see all these changes from a human perspective, right? I think the human factor it's always important when we talk about technology, and especially in the last few years and decades, we've seen how technology is changing and it's also developing in an exponential way. And sometimes this can be, as I said in my talk, very overwhelming. So yeah, especially when it comes to AI, I think it has a lot of benefits, especially for creative work, for technological projects. Even well, it can help in a lot of areas like medicine, for example, or the development of new technologies that can improve hardware performance, software performance, but still. I'm afraid of the way the relationship between human and machines is going to change in the next years. So yeah, I can understand perfectly your concerns.
Well, uh, that's the thing. You said from the human perspective, and my concerns are from human perspective mostly as well. Like I've spoken to a friend of mine, and we've spoken about the dangers of AI, like existential dangers. Like I don't know if you know the Stuxnet computer virus, for example, which in 2010 was developed by CIA to like disable the weapon manufacturing in Iran.
Okay.
Like this is dangerous, but that's not like. And now that AI is becoming so much more small, the danger of this is more capable. But for me, this is like not my place of worry. I worry mostly about like our day-to-day life because I'm looking at the social media which we have and how it affects people for one, and how there's way more depression and how our attention spans are going down and how we are. I don't want to be rude and saying that we're becoming more stupid, but I feel like as a society we are becoming more uh, stupid just because we're more adapted to this easy to get content, and there's a lot of biological research being done how it replaces our dopamine receptors as well. And then I'm also thinking how we will just work on business when there's just so much homogeneous content being created, where like I'm not even sure there will be. I find it really hard to imagine myself in the place where I would be interested in business, where there's just like you can just press buttons and like hundreds of content will just appear. And like uh, want just to add. You can say that like, oh no, but you have to you have to be good at prompts. But even now, already, even with ChatGPT free, like there was so many people who like, here you go, give me $15 and I'll give you 1,000 prompts for any situation, and then you can just like edit the variables and like you can already have everything. So from this standpoint, I'm I'm like, I guess I'm not optimistic from this point of view. And especially like we have a lot of people like now Elon Musk and Steve Wozniak and others signing this petition to like stop, I think it's for 6 months, stop the
Yeah.
development of ChatGPT.
Yeah, for me that time was weird. I think it's we need more time to get used to this kind of technologies. I think they should stop for more than a year, at least. I don't know, 6 months for me sounds like a very short period of time to I don't know, to maybe prepare for this.
Yeah, like
Oh,
what's gonna do like if you just stop, if you stop development like for 6 months, like what does it change?
that's right. For me, I think it's weird that they say just for six stop just for 6 months. I'm not sure what's the reason, what's the real. Maybe I'm being too skeptical, but I'm not sure if they're actually um, trying to stop the development of this kind of technologies, or if they want to take advantage of that. And it's basically because I think that this is not enough time. As simple as that. But regarding the other thing you said, yeah, I'm also very concerned about the fact that people it's getting lazier. We've seen how ChatGPT has been used to solve exams and tests to get into universities in different countries. This was tried here in Spain, also in the States. And we've seen how this technology is performing, and the performance is almost well in almost every case it was better than human performance. So that for me it's a reason to start thinking and to start finding new ways and solutions to how, or well especially how to design tests, how to design our education programs. I don't know, this is starting to ring the bell on a lot of issues that we weren't considering 1 year ago, right? So yeah, I think that's one of the main risks, the fact that we start trusting everything to these technologies and we forget about learning, we forget about doing new things, creating new things, because these technologies are able to automatically generate results that are pretty much that are pretty well, sorry, and that's it. So yeah, that's for me that's a very big risk, especially because it also I don't know, people has a purpose, or try to find their purpose in life, and sometimes to do that you have to have a motivation. But if you see that a machine is able to perform very fast and to get a very good result very easily, maybe you'll feel discouraged and maybe you wouldn't try, right?
Well, that's also like a really good one because I'm, well, I spent a lot of time thinking about it myself, about like what's
Mhm.
going on with the society from like, philosophical and psychological level. And there was this, uh, I guess a metaphor because you can never like check it, for example, but um, the level of achievement a caveman gotten when they got out and like they caught a deer
Yeah,
and brought it back to the cave, the level of achievement uh, they've gotten there is simply inaccessible to us right now because our lives just became so much easier in so many ways.
yeah,
And now we have those situations again. I know this like from like as a bystander. I'm don't do any research into like demographics and the society.
Mhm.
From what I know, so many people are less motivated, so much problems with the mental health issues which people are having. People have problems even now that there's more work being created in one way. There are so many people who can't find work, who have no interest in finding work. Many people do give up and like just um, because like we have access to the knowledge, to the worldwide knowledge already, to have
Yeah.
like pretty excellent lives, to be honest. Like from health, and none of it is expensive. If you really dig deep into it, like health isn't that expensive. Like so, and with AI, if you just really can do this, like from the steps of like again from buttons, and then if you doing this from the point of businesses, there's this also Spanish, I think, or Portuguese. I'm not sure who the by the name, but from there, uh,
Mhm.
entrepreneur who is doing a startup as an experiment where ChatGPT is the CEO. Maybe you've seen it, like he posted a bunch
Ah,
of
yeah, yeah. I remember the case. Yeah.
yeah, and it's interesting, but it's scary implication for the future because if it works, why bother?
And for what I've heard, they're very happy with the results. Employees are yeah getting very good conditions, and the general performance of the company is very good thanks to this machine CEO decisions. So it's hard. It's very difficult when it comes to this kind of situations. But still, what I wanted to do with my talk was to highlight the fact that still innovation is something that's part of our human nature, right? Basically, because this AIs have been trained with information that's already there, right? Things that we've already created before. So they're not able, they're not still able to create something from scratch. And they still need to be trained with what we've already created. So that's why I think, especially when it comes to creative work, we still have a chance to stand out. We still have a chance to use our human talent to create new things. But still, as you said when we were talking in the last week, you highlighted the fact that um, in some areas, people don't need to perform especially creative work, and this kind of technologies can actually solve every one of their problems, right? So yeah, it's complicated. I think, as I said before, it depends on the area of expertise. Some of us will be more affected and some will not, depending on our jobs, depending on the things that we need to do, right?
Well, yeah. Well, definitely, and that's the other. That's why I said at the beginning I'm a bit schizophrenic about it because
Mm-hmm.
from the other side, uh,
Mm-hmm.
AI opens so many possibilities, and uh, well, obviously there is the education is going to change in all fields. Maybe it will have to speed the education up, but you actually have to go through more because you have to be better than, well, you have to be at the level where you can operate the AI.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking, it just opens so many possibilities and like even creatively, as you said, and again, this never occurred to me before, that if we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about the metaverse, then we can really do populate it and have
Yeah.
entire living worlds there being created. Which again, if you think about it in like dystopian terms, it's gonna raise some scary questions where people will
Of course. Yeah.
really live in the metaverse. But you can actually populate the metaverse. You can create amazing concepts. You can reduce costs of creation. Like, I always had I'm not a creative by profession,
Okay.
but I always had like creative ambitions. But uh, I would always, well, that's personal, but I would always stop myself because I was like, okay, so like, what should I focus on? Should I focus on like doing more drawing right now to like potentially draw something in the future, or should I actually like go and do my work? And I'm not saying that like I chose something I hate just because it makes money. No, I actually, even there I made the decision which I love doing. But the point is there was this opportunity cost.
Yeah.
We couldn't bring more creative parts into what I wanted to do, and from this point, AI allows to do this. And like, if I say I want to create now, even as part of like a marketing, which I'm doing, if I want to create like a metaverse with actual people, then I have the utility to do that on a pretty low budget. So it's not a triple A production which I need to go to and have like millions of dollars in budget. So like the
That's
doors
right.
are opening. The doors are really can
That's
but then you see, and but this is the good thing. But then I have so little faith in people that, well, the people who are creative and want to use it will use it for good, but the vast majority will just ruin it for somehow.
Yeah, but on the other hand, something that I find very important is the fact that organizations, for example, some governments, like in this case, the European Union, already said that they have to take actions. And I think the more institutions understand that and try to create a common ground to start building these new regulations and try to control in the good way the development of this or the use of this kind of technologies. I'm not saying this is going to be the solution, but it will help definitely. Because what we've seen through history is that technology goes faster than law, than politics, and sometimes we're making decisions or taking actions in the more institutional part. Is it's very complicated. It's the the pace is slower, but right now I think they already understand the risks, and maybe they're going to take actions sooner than later. And well, I hope that they do it as soon as possible. And also, I try to be positive. I think, yeah, there are a lot of people that can use this technology for harm others to basically generate more problems. But still, I try to be positive about the general public. I think people is not as bad as we think.
No, no, no. I don't think it will be used for harm. I'm just.
Mm.
It's like, it's like social media. Like
Yeah.
so little of it is good. Or like, I thought about Instagram.
Mhm.
Um, so I used to do social media marketing, and
Okay.
I was just like thinking about it, how much I hate Instagram right now. I really do because, and I thought about it, and like maybe 5 to 6 years ago, I would go to Instagram, and I would just like have all my friends there. And pretty much that's all I care. So okay, I know where my friends are. I can interact with them through experience of emotion of actually talking to people. Like, yeah, it's a bit show offy. Yeah, sure. Some people like to do food pictures a lot. Some people like to show off like that they went somewhere. But that's not the point. I think the point I kind of connected with them through like because sharing experience. Now I go to the Instagram, and pretty much everybody is trying to sell something. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about advertisements. I'm talking about everybody. being bought into this info business hustle culture,
Yeah.
uh, it all becomes the same. And the worst part of it, when I was obviously I'm doing social, well, I used to do social media marketing, and back then I thought, okay, if I'm gonna offer something to my clients, I need to know it myself. And so I started recording videos, making posts, so doing the whole Instagram funnel. And hate, I wouldn't say I hate it, but I really disliked it because again, I wanted to be more creative. But when you try to be more creative and actually like pushing a topic on Instagram, the reach would go down.
Yeah.
What
That's
you
right.
what you do is you repeat the same thing over and over again with like minimal change to it. And this makes, and that's when I realized that I don't like it because it's so boring. That's the borderline. It's so boring when you look at it from like the creative, where you try to find something new. Uh, and that's what I say that people will
I
ruin.
get it.
But again,
Yeah.
sure, yes, you can use AI to destroy the world, probably, but like not my concern. I'm talking about like more
I
basic.
get it. Yeah.
That's
You
gonna be
know what? And that's already a consequence of AI, because basically what we're talking about here is algorithms and the way they filter information and the way they show information. So yeah, that's already a consequence of AI working actively on social media, right?
yeah.
Um, but yeah, well, I think it depends on, as I said before, on the area and the way we use it. For example, in my talk, I try to highlight the fact that when we have to develop a project from scratch and we don't have the skills, as you say a few minutes ago, you still can create, for example, an illustration if you're not an illustrator, but you can create an illustration to sell an idea using any of these tools. Maybe you're a writer and you want to write a book, but you don't have someone to help you design the I don't know the graphic. You don't have someone to help you with the cover. So you can design the cover using one of these tools and at least sell this first idea or pitch your initial vision, and then in the future, if someone wants to fund your idea or want to help you develop this project, you can find a professional that actually creates the final piece. So for me, in those cases, AI can be really, really helpful, and I've lived this uh, in first person. I've been in this situation where I have to, right now, for example, I'm creating a new media channel online, and I need to create a logo, but right now, I didn't have the budget to pay someone to create it. Well, I start by thinking of a concept using AI, and with that base, I can generate my logo. Then I can bring this picture to Illustrator or to Photoshop and finish the the final image to use it as a logo, right?
Yeah.
It's a very simple use, but I think in that process, in that workflow where you have this AI tools and then your human talent and your human perspective, you are able to actually generate very creative work, and in a very fast way. And I try to highlight that as maybe one of that's like the good part of the story, the good the positive side of the story.
Uh, well, I can relate actually. Just today I had the same where we're working on branding for a company.
Okay. Okay.
But I just went to Mid Journey and I'm like, I need
Right.
to brainstorm ideas or like show off something. I'm just okay. So give me this type of image, those colors, and then
That's right.
generate something and I send it over. No, I'm not against it. I'm actually again, as I said, I have my worries,
Yeah.
obviously. But on the other hand, I'm actually maybe even again, I'm kind of binary. I'm like either not have it or have it and go all in. You know,
Okay.
I feel I don't trust the government with like such regulations. I'm sure like they will mess it up somehow.
Sure, sure. That's why I actually said it's not the final solution, but maybe it will help a bit to to get into a better situation, I think.
Well, actually, like, what do you think? I had a thought about actually, so not have open AIs, not
Okay.
I mean like not to have open use AIs available for everybody, but to have it like a AI license, which say your business or your school or you for
Mm.
personal use can use, and then like because to limit the supply of AI available on the market, and hence, so if somebody wants to use an AI, they can, but it will not over pollute the landscape.
I get what you say, but still there's a lot of people that can buy it and use it and still use it for the wrong reasons, right? I
Yeah,
think yeah, you can control the amount of content that's generated that way. Um, Probably. I still don't know if it's the final solution again, right?
well, yeah, well, because how many users would ChatGPT actually have it if it was paid from the start? I'm sure like way less.
I'm not sure, but you know, after knowing its potential, I think there's a lot of people that will pay for it because they've seen how powerful it is, and yeah, basically that's the reason. They've seen how much work they can optimize by using it. So I think that the danger here is, or the dangerous thing here is that they already try it, right?
I think the danger is for the consulting, the business consulting industry.
Yeah.
That's very dangerous because they are trained through like the business frameworks which they use to think like a robot, basically. I mean, I'm not talking about right now, but like in general, the frameworks they use to solve their cases,
Yeah.
it's, it's very mechanical.
Okay. Yeah.
And I feel like if we have chat GPTs already being CEOs of little startups, you can easily train like an AI to just like using their like library of cases to just like again do like a few paragraph prompt and then like
Yeah.
just get rid of like entire mechanical industries. Definitely you can get like the ones with numbers, the ones which are logical. I think you can.
Yeah, but still we have to be careful because these tools make mistakes. We
And
still,
somebody check, no, somebody, an operator, yeah, definitely, but like
yeah, we still need to check. We still need to also. I'm reading a book, Hello World, from Hannah Fry,
yeah.
and she gives a lot of examples in which the human factor has been key. In especially when it comes to making decisions related to um, situations where there there is a big probability to affect people's life, or we have, for example, the case of driveless cars. There are a lot of situations where the human decision, or at least it is important that the final decision is made by a human, especially when you have a lot of an initial process where the machine is analyzing all the variables, but then it gives you a result that it's not always as accurate as it should be. So yeah, that's it. She also talks about the justice. He gives a lot of justice cases where we have to be very careful with the results of the machines, because it can make they can make still they still make big mistakes. For example, deciding how much time a person should be in jail. those very simple answers can affect the life of a person in a very important way.
What do you think is awaiting us this year with AI?
I'm not sure. It's a very difficult question to answer. I think we will start to talk about ethics, and we'll start to talk about regulations, well, more often. I also think, well, we've seen new tools emerging. We have Adobe Firefly, we have Microsoft Copilot. We've seen how BART is also integrated into other Google tools. So I think we will still see how these technologies will keep developing. But I think also our concerns are going to increase. So I think we will have both conversations the same, at the same time. First, the regulation talk, and second, how we can improve these tools. And for me, it's very important that both things happen in order to, as I said, in order to create more in a more responsible way and to use these technologies in a more responsible way.
Yeah, that's well, it's hard to say, I think, also because it's just changing so fast.
It
Like,
is.
again, I brought an example on the conference, I think,
No,
uh, that I had to do something in February
no.
for a presentation. It got moved to March, and I had to
Okay.
do the entire section on the AI just because it changed already. And then, like, even in this last week, again, like, and there are like some good breakdowns on YouTube where this is go day by day, where like somebody announces something new, and then again somebody like signs up some regulation.
Yeah.
Uh, I also been playing with the AI called Replica. Have you heard about it?
No, no. What is it?
It's an app. Uh,
Okay.
I'm I'm not sure if it's ChatGPT or if it's something separate. Like, that's how everybody like half of AI apps on the market are just ChatGPT backended.
Yeah.
Um, but so you create like a digital friend, I guess.
Okay.
It can be a boyfriend, a girlfriend. Like, it's like a game where you are in a chat with somebody.
Okay.
Uh, and you just talk with them and they talk with you, and they level up with the level of interaction which you can have with them,
Okay.
and they supposedly can hold a conversation.
Okay. Through voice, or it's a text chat?
Not sure about voice, not sure,
Okay.
but they're fully created 3D model. You can put them in augmented reality into the real world,
Okay.
so you just like show off on your phone, they just render in on the camera.
Okay.
um and And yeah, they talk, they have like the system where they remember what you talk about. So you can say like, well, I like football, and they're gonna say, okay, so I'm gonna memorize it.
Okay.
Um, they don't seem to be like real time updated as far as I can tell. Like, if you say you like something, but then something happens in the real world, it's not like they're gonna talk with you.
Okay.
And I also listen to like a lot of like AI developers or people like again in the industry who talk about like how in the future we can have like AI friends and like AI.
For sure. Yeah.
But like again, maybe I want just something authentic from my interactions. But there's this level of it just being fake, and it's not like no the AI says like normal things. It's like it doesn't make super wrong mistakes or something. But this is just this attitude. When you're talking to the person, there's always a bit of a pushback, pullback. Like you may not like something you say, and you're gonna disagree, right?
Yeah.
If I'm and if I'm wrong or you're wrong, um, you're gonna be defending your point, or like unless it's like really, really wrong, and then you like But then like, why would you say this? But there is like this certain of like confrontation which is happening in the conversation. Not the bad one, but I mean like just confrontation of ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
With those, they're programmed to be like support, I guess.
Okay.
And it's just like it's like you say, oh no, no, what you said is wrong, and it's like, oh yes, silly me, I'm so wrong sometimes.
They're so polite.
Yeah, they are polite. Yeah.
But there is another tool, the one I show you my presentation in World that's developing these demos using also characters. They're NPCs based on AI. And you can create, when you create a character, you have to write a backstory, and you also have to define a personality. So you can specify, I want this character to be very stubborn, I want this character to be angry most of the time, right? So you can also shape a personality when you're creating these characters. So I think that could solve this this situation a bit, right? You can have more interesting conversation maybe when you have a character that's more complex. Okay, but I still well understand what you're saying. The human interaction has this also this factor well related to things that are unexpected, right?
But
And this is something that's difficult when you're talking with a machine, right?
well, yeah, well, no, I think like a lot of people, there have been like stories. I think as long as I remember of somebody like
Mm-hmm.
it's for some reason it's very Asian thing to uh, develop like a friendship or a relationship with a virtual game. Or there has been loads of it, I think, in Warcraft where this happened. But I guess Warcraft is more like real people with just avatars.
Yeah.
Um, but what I'm, you know, unless AI is sentient, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure we're not there yet,
No.
but unless AI is sentient, when you speak with somebody, you also have this intent.
Mm-hmm.
So even like now, even when you're like friends, right, with somebody, and sometimes you, I don't know, like in the shop or like watching the same movie or like just miss a friend or something, and you like message them and say something to them
Mm-hmm.
from your personal, well, from your like background which you share with this person.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can code this into the AI, but how real is it if it just has like a scheduled timer, which is like, hey, next Sunday you go to, and then like randomize, and then like next, not Sunday, but next to Wednesday you, and like, how, like, if it's just like, just if it's like just scheduled messages which it sends to me, I'm like, not sure how.
I get it. Yeah. You
Like,
don't share memories with this character. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
disposable. Like, how can I
Yeah.
treat something which I can easily just delete and update and like
Yeah.
when I have total control of something, it's um, AI can be as sophisticated. That's actually the problem. Not the problem, but it's not even a concern, but it's something I have of a thought with the metaverse in general.
Okay.
Metaverse can be incredibly decentralized and sophisticated, and the AIs can be there.
Mm-hmm.
But as a user of the metaverse, this level of sophistication is closed off to me. Like, sure, I get like incremental differences, but I don't know like the entire the whole the whole system. I'm not sure
Hmm.
how it's working. And then it's not that much different from like a really good game with like like a really good role playing game of like a role playing companion who I go like on like raids or something. It's like um
Yeah. For the me, it's the integration side. Well, the main difference with video games or very good games is the integration of other layers. Not only, I'm not only talking about different windows like VR, AR, etc., right? But also the fact that we can integrate other activities into this three-dimensional or yeah, three-dimensional internet. The fact that we can work and we can collaborate, and there is with NFTs and blockchain a new economical system. The fact that we have this new idea of true our ownership of our digital assets. For me, those are like the main differences. But definitely, the metaverse is uh, understood as a virtual world is very connected to the notion of video games. But I think, and this is maybe one of the main mistakes of Zuckerberg when he sell his vision of the metaverse.
yeah.
Um, I think that the metaverse shouldn't be understood as a 100% virtual experience, right? And for me, it's a hybrid experience. Is the fact that we can access the internet not only by using our laptops or our headsets, but also with our phones and looking at a digital layer over the physical world. The fact that we can have this hybrid experiences, it's a more interesting view from my perspective, right? And that's where I see the main difference with video games, because in video games they used to be a very um, well, it's a completely virtual experience. It's a completely digital experience. It happens in a single environment. It happens in a single inside a single interface with a specific set of rules. But in this case, you have the possibility to move from one experience or one kind of content or interface to another, and these changes are very fluid. You can change the way you consume this information or this or live these experiences. So those are for me the main differences with video games, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, there obviously are differences, but uh, do you think we are close to having our own personalized AIs in our pockets?
Yeah, sure. Why not? As you said, you'll be able to shape your personal assistants. That's something I think it's very plausible. I don't know if everybody will do it. Um,
Apple did hire like an AI startup, so you never know what they're planning for.
that's right. That's right. But yeah, who knows? Maybe I think it could be a very popular idea, and a lot of people I think will be eager to try it. I'm not sure if I want to have an assistant that speaks to me all day. I have Google Home, and I don't speak to it all the time. Sometimes I ask him for or her. It depends. Right now it has a male voice, so I ask him what time is it, and that's it. I don't usually use this kind of technology. So I think it depends. There's maybe there's people that will try it and will see the potential of this of a virtual assistant, right?
Now, right now, again, just thinking, I realize how complicated of a topic it is to talk about AI in
It
general
is. Yeah.
because there's so many, like, they're all different.
Yeah.
Like a chatbot AI is so much different to the AI, which just helps to sort through.
Generate
Not
images.
even algorithm, which like algorithm is not a chatbot AI in any sense.
That's right.
So and they all have their own and different uses. And why I jumped to this is because I was like wanting to ask you another question, which again I had like a conversation in private. Um, so you can use an AI right now to generate realistic sounding voice and do a recording of the audiobook within an hour,
Yeah.
right? Um, would you buy and listen to an AI generated audiobook? Then you have an option of a real person uh, recorded audiobook.
That's a very hard answer. Um, Obviously, I'll prefer to support someone that gives his or her voice to create an audiobook, right? Basically, because it's the job of this person, and basically because I don't want them to lose their jobs, right? But still, the result of AI could be very good. Sometimes you're not able well, or you won't be able to see the difference um, between a voice created synthetically and a natural voice, right? But there is a big discussion right now, especially for actors and people that works in the dubbing films and TV shows, because they're very concerned of how AI can be used to steal their jobs. This is a very realistic thing, and this will probably happen. So they're very concerned right now because they're not only concerned about the fact that they can be well, I'm trying to find a word. They can be replaced by an AI voice, but by the fact that their uses can be used to train an AI to replicate their voices.
Yeah,
And excuse me?
you need enough recordings of the voice and like
Yeah, but you have two options. You can generate a completely 100% synthetic voice with some tools, and with others, you need to train the AI with an actor's voice to create a final piece, right? So that for me, that's going to be a very important debate. We will discuss about it a lot in the future, because now we're talking about how these people can lose their jobs, and there are a lot of, well, especially in Spain or Latin America, we're very used to the dubbing industry. It's a very big industry, and because all that comes from, especially from English speaking countries, is translated, is dubbed, and um, yeah, it's very hard. I'll support the the human um, voices, but I know that for the industry it could be cheaper to create AI voices, right?
well, again, when you're doing a studio recording, it's a bit
Mm-hmm.
different than what I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
But there has been a political scandal
Yeah.
in not that much of a scandal, but there was a political situation in Russia in March.
Yeah.
There was a leaked recording between a politician and like a rich businessman,
Mm-hmm.
and like a show business producer.
Okay.
It wasn't very flattering to the Russian government.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, the show business producer came out and said, "Well, like it's not me, it's AIs. It's like I have nothing to do with this." And then like people who do audio listened to this and said like, if it's an AI, this AI costs tens of millions to create such a recording because it wasn't just the voice. It's when people speak, obviously you can account for many things which are spoken in during the discussion, like pauses, not pauses, but they also had a lot of sounds in the conversation on multiple
Mhm.
levels with the conversation, which added this, well, realistic flavor, I guess you can say, to the conversation. So maybe it's like still a bit hard to like maybe completely remove the dubbing agency. It sure can happen in the future with the dubbing, but it's not even the dubbing; it's like the visuals as well. But
Yeah, well, deep fake basically, because when we talk about deep fake, it can be a voice deep fake or a face deep fake. We're using the technology for both things.
well, like again, like I think it was Bruce Willis. He sold his when he quit acting last year.
Mhm.
He sold his likeness to a couple of
You're right. Yeah.
agencies to use
Mhm.
for advertisements.
Yeah, and you have the other case, which is Paul Newman, who prepared himself decades ago. He was a visionary, and he completely well he decided to how can you say it you right now you cannot use his image or his voice because legally both his voice and his image are protected. And he was a very visionary person at the time because um he thought about the possibility of his image. Well, at the moment it was just video, right? But still he wanted to protect the use of his image and voice.
Well,
So yeah, you have both cases.
we have a lot of it actually in the cinema right now with Star Wars. Well,
Yeah,
more than that, where they like DH people, but they actually had entire actors when they died show
yeah,
up.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher, and then in the I think Rogue One, uh, an Imperial general appeared who appeared in the first one.
That's right.
Uh,
That's right. And also the voice of Darth Vader was used because the actor was too old to perform, and he granted the use of his voice. He said the rights to use the voice. Yeah.
yes, and well, in Fast and Furious movies, you had Paul Walker show up as well.
No.
I guess it's a bit. I guess it's a bit of a gray area when the person died during the filming of the movie, as awful as it is. But when they actually have people showing up in the movies which they didn't even like film, it's becoming really scary. And also, how far are we away from me just going on the internet and like, okay, so for my advertisement or for my movie, I'm just gonna like show up and add this face, this actor, and this voice. So I'm gonna have I don't know, again, Bruce Willis with the voice of Morgan Freeman show up for some reason. Like, how far away from where we just do this? And again, thinking about business wise, I'm thinking about like market again saturation.
Yeah.
There has been again a game, but I just want to use an example in the game. It's a role-playing game,
Mhm.
and in it you play as a hero who saved the world. And there's like a shopping mall. It's a sci-fi game, and in the shopping mall you can go to the shops, and in the shops you say, okay, so give me a discount, and they say, oh, I'll give you a discount, but why don't you record to us that this is your favorite shop? And that you do. And then you can do this for all of the shops. And then you run around the shopping mall and you hear the recording being actually played. And like, sure, it's a bit like funny game wise, but how far away actually away from this where every single brand is being marketed by like select few uh, big personalities, Hollywood personalities or otherwise,
Yeah.
and like just creating those voices again. And then there's also this question like with the book, going back to the book. So we had an
Mhm.
example where Prince Harry's book, which came out last year.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So again, let me ask you again: would you listen to Prince Harry narrate his book? audiobook, or would you have it narrated by an AI voice, a different one, not Prince Harry's?
I guess I rather Prince Harry's voice,
Right.
basically because you want to hear the
Yeah,
author.
because it's yeah, his book.
Yeah, that's why.
But what happens when it's Prince Harry's AI voice, and maybe you don't even know about it?
It's complicated because if you're not able to distinguish that he's not him, and you believe it is, it's no way you can complain, right?
Right. Well, again, it's like no, as a customer, yes, but again, once you get into like the ethics,
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing, and I think we'll start to see how more and more actors and celebrities are going to start um, controlling more their rights and the use of their image and voice with these kind of tools. Or maybe we'll see how others like Mel Gibson. Well, no, how do you say? Who was the actor? The one that shared the rights to use his image.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. We're going to, or maybe we're going to see more Bruce Bruce Willis style actors that will be eager to share their image and voice. I think it depends also on the perspective you have. Maybe an actor wish to be immortal and he wants to be um, he wants to be present even when he's dead, right? So I'm not sure. It's a very complex topic indeed.
Very complex. And again, so many directions of the
Yeah,
how it can take, how it can affect us.
but you know what? Something that really concerns me are fake news, because um, of what you said. It's not only the fact that you can create a fake news, but
People,
the fact that if you have a real if you have real news and someone comes out and says, I didn't did that, I didn't say that, I didn't do that, I didn't say that, it's very difficult to know if this person is telling the truth or not, right? So it works in both ways. um yeah, and that's it. You can create, you can actually try to be responsible and publish real news, but still this new environment can help people think you're not telling the truth just because someone is saying, I didn't said that, I didn't say that, and I didn't act that way, right?
yeah, but then again, it's like just so complicated, and we realize in this discussion just how, again, the big the topic is. But you say like, okay, somebody didn't say something, but what about if somebody just creates a fake news, not governmental or politics related even, but if somebody creates a fake news for like a big company,
Yeah,
like, and then the stocks drop
that's right.
overnight because when the people figure out that it's not real or fake, because I'm not sure if there's a way to actually tell if the picture is AI generated or not.
Well, there's trying, well, there is another conversation, which is the creation of some kind of footprint or way to
Well, with this, yes, definitely.
identify this kind of work, right?
But what if it's uh, illegally generated AI? Then you will never know because like
Yeah,
um,
I agree. I agree.
obviously there was this problem with fingers, like where it would generate wrong number of fingers on the hands, and
Yeah.
and then people started buying additional fingers to wear. So then when the camera gets it, well, you say this AI generated, you cannot use it as in court. This is a real case. This happened, I think. I read the news about it in January.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So the person had like additional finger put on. So it's just a finger which you put on like as a ring. So you have like basically
Yeah.
two fingers like this. And then you could never say because like this is not my photo you having there because like look it just like it made a mistake.
Yeah.
And then Trump had his thing that I'm still not sure if it's real or not, but he said that he is gonna get captured, taken by the police, arrested uh,
Hmm.
a few
Yeah.
weeks. And then there was an actual photo of it come out,
Yeah.
and like I'll be honest, I thought, oh well, he was like
Yeah, me too. There were more than one, indeed. There were like four pictures or so, and you could see like different perspectives, and it was very realistic.
but here's the thing, like if you follow closely what's going on,
Yeah.
you will probably read into the article and be like, okay, this is fake. This is not what happened. This is a Mid-Journey generated picture which can do photorealistic, although who knows what Mid-Journey 6 will be able to do. Uh, but what if you just like get the news by osmosis, by just browsing the internet? Then
Yeah.
you can convince, well, you can be convinced of anything now, basically, because oh, so Trump was arrested there, and there's something
Yeah,
else.
and you said something very important at the beginning of the conversation. Our attention span is shrinking. So we are not paying enough attention to what we consume. We are not reading carefully, and so the probability of believing this kind of news also increases because of this, right? So yeah.
Yeah, that's like again, um, how do we as a society? Because obviously, me personally, I can understand what my worries about the AI are and take certain actions.
Yeah.
How do we as a society prepare to something which is, I think, borderline existential change? I'm not sure we're there yet. I'm not sure it's like I'm still think we're at the tool level, where it's just a tool, a
Okay.
powerful tool.
Yeah.
But I think if we're talking about AI general intelligence, which is purposely should be sentient. Nobody knows because it's not developed yet, but that's
Yeah. There is people that's skeptical of this idea. They say it is not going to come. I'm not sure because I'm not a mathematician or an AI expert. But I'm not sure. There is a group of people that says no, that's science fiction. We're not going to get there. But still, what we're seeing is that we have a very powerful tool right now, and it seems it's getting better and a super fast pace. So
you
I'm
know
not sure.
it's science fiction. All the science fiction which was made up 50 years ago is outdated compared by the technology which happened. Well, like if you take away the magical element of like breaking the laws of physics,
Yeah,
like our phones are way more powerful than whatever Star Wars and Star Trek had in mind.
yeah.
Our technologies of travel, space travel, computers, like, and maybe like starting to bring this conversation to a close, even though I'm sure we can
Hmm.
go on. Uh,
Hmm.
I think we should. I'm gonna be try to be optimistic here because like, I don't want to end on a sour note. I think we should really embrace it. Why am I saying this? Because even in my lifetime,
Hmm.
I went from VHS tapes.
Hmm. Me too.
Well, uh, and I just remember it like very vividly because I was still a child, and so we had like first VHS tapes, and then like it was such a break. It was such a change when like we started getting DVDs, and
Yeah.
then we started getting like USB flash drives, and now it's all just streaming and existing in the cloud, and technology, again, gives so much possibility. It gives even like the borderline gives us the possibility to have the discussion right now,
Yeah.
which even more people can hear through YouTube or like podcasting,
Yeah.
right? It gives us an opportunity to have this discussion. Sure, like in the past, you could just like maybe record it in a radio booth, but right now, neither you or I are like radio or TV personalities, and we're doing this from different continents.
Yeah.
I'm currently in Asia. We're in like Spain.
Yeah.
So uh, so it opens so many doors, and like as much as I don't like the application of technology by well, as much as I don't like how people make good things and make them like general or average,
Mm-hmm.
I think there hasn't been a technology which like destroyed us or broke us. But there have been naysayers who say this about everything what happens. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to be optimistic.
Okay.
But what do you think? Like seriously, where is it taking us? Where are we going with it right now?
Let's see. I think this is boosting a lot of conversations, not only in terms of how we can improve our lives, but also we are starting to think about, as we said before, purpose. And let's see. For me, this is, as you said, it's not only a technological change, but also an existential change. And I think I disagree a bit with you, because I think for some people, it is already changing 100% their lives. Okay. Or that change is going to happen in a few years, 1 to 2 to 3 years from now. Because there's people that's going to lose their jobs, or people that will start to think about their future, and what will be their purpose, right? So for me, this is boosting not only technical and technical conversations, but also human conversations about what we want to achieve as human beings, and also how this is going to affect us as a society. So for me, the key here is not to forget the human factor, not to forget we still need to have a purpose. We still need to progress as a society. And this is something we didn't discuss today, which is the fact that there is a big inequality in the world right now. We're talking from a very first world perspective, where we are having access to all these tools, but there are still places in the world that don't have access to the basics, to the internet, for example. So we are going very, very fast, but we shouldn't forget about the other half of the population, or I don't know if it's half of the population, but there's a big part of the population that is not part of this change. In some parts of the world, they haven't even heard about ChatGPT, you know. So it's very complex when you see and we look to this in a very global way, right? Because this is something that's happening only in a part of the world, and there is another big part of the world that's behind. But with these advances, it's going to be even further, right? Um, even more. I don't know if you can help me, but it would be more difficult for them to keep up with us, right? So yeah, I think we have to start thinking not only about how these technologies are going to improve our lives in the technological way, or what are the risks that it involves, but also in which way we can still be humans, and we can still connect with others. I don't know if this is a very hippie or positive reflection, but for me, we need to still be connected to our human existence and our human nature, in order to understand and, as you said, engage with all these changes.
Well, we definitely didn't bring it up because it's, again, another one of those big topics. But I totally agree with you. I can. I've been in Africa. Uh, I know 50% of my country doesn't even have gas at the moment, which is Russia. Uh,
Right.
Granted, those statistics are a bit weird because, like, yes, most of those 50% are probably not uh, inhabited by anybody because it's just a dense forest. But
Yeah.
I'd say the majority of the world probably doesn't have access to ChatGPT and doesn't have interest in ChatGPT at the moment.
Yeah.
And they're gonna miss this change which is happening right now. And this is definitely conversations and discussions and ethics. And this is also something, the problem with the government regulation, I feel,
Mhm.
in general, with like a lot of it, but with AI in particular right now,
Mhm.
tied to a single country. Like United Nations cannot regulate entire uh, world.
Mhm.
That's where the problem arises because the technology, especially if we're talking about the metaverse technology, like it's decentralized. It doesn't have a center where you regulate it from. It's just everywhere. So like, how do you regulate? How do you regulate an AI, and especially how do you regulate AIs when like I can just buy a really powerful PC and develop whatever AI I want right now?
Yeah.
So something
Yeah.
to
For
definitely.
me, it's very concerning the fact that we are more and more separated, and these technologies increase the gap between developed countries and countries that, well, in the third world, right? And yeah, as you said, we shouldn't start talking about that because maybe this is a bigger conversation, but um yeah, it's important. And I think what connects both worlds is our human condition. And I don't know, I don't know how to how
Well,
to
we should
improve it.
those parts of the world, not through AI, but like we're a bit um, disconnected from those parts of the world just by our own choice. How
Yeah,
many people actually go to those parts of the world which are so desperately disconnected from the rest of us? Well, not a lot.
you
Uh,
know,
they are like going to another planet. Like
yeah,
when I went to Africa,
yeah,
I, again, it's nothing to do with AI, but like we went to Kilimanjaro to climb it.
okay,
Um, But this is completely different. It isn't Europe, it isn't Russia, it isn't United States. It's none of it. It's like a completely different country where people live, well, they're still people, but
yeah,
like the things which bother them, like their daily routine, their lives there, is like nothing compared to like European, like, lifestyle. Nothing.
yeah. For example, I'm from Latin America. I'm from Venezuela, and yeah, you may think that, yeah, well, in Venezuela there is internet access, but still, there are parts of the country that don't have the basic services. They didn't have light, they didn't have water. So inside the same country, well, and that's something you also have seen with Russia. There are differences,
Yeah, definitely.
so that makes things even more complex, right?
Yeah. Well, there are, some good initiatives right now where, well, at least I get like a lot of it lately,
Okay.
where they offer you assistance for free or to make your website for free,
Okay.
give work to people in Africa. So obviously they work for free first time, but then you like hire them at like some cheap rate. So this is good that this is some sort of like connection. But at the same time, me as a business person in this scenario, I don't really want an assistant from there, just again because of this disparity. So like I realize the problem, but I kind of don't want to be the solution of it because as a business person, the opportunity cost is
It's
there.
high.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem where like I feel like I can't do anything. Well, I choose not to do anything because I choose to do what's more comfortable for me, which is kind of the part of the problem.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think again, without dwelling into like a whole other topic, which we can probably continue some other time.
Yeah.
But why don't you tell people where they can find you? And I just want to thank you for coming and like helping with like our first recordings, which we're doing into our new initiative, bringing those conversations, which are important, to more people.
Thank you, Ivan, for the invitation. It was a pleasure for me. It wasn't at my best today, maybe because I was a bit, as you know, English is not my first language, but I try my best. Still, well, if people wants to find me, they can go to my website, jimenatormo.com, or through LinkedIn. And what I basically do is I do a lot of consulting for people that or the companies that want to start building their brands in the metaverse and using XR technologies. And also, I'm a teacher and I have a podcast. So for Spanish speaking people, if they want to know more about this kind of technologies, I invite you to listen to Metaversadas, which is my podcast. And you can find it on YouTube, Spotify, well, all the podcast websites. And well, that's it. Thank you so much for the invitation. It was very, very nice for me.